Hey my friends, Lissa here for another video. It's getting a little bit chilly here in Canada, so I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about being a raw vegan in the winter months and staying warm. This is probably one of the top questions that I get from people who are on a raw vegan diet and who feel that they are cold or they have issues going raw over the winter. This will be my third winter as a raw vegan, and I have done videos about this in the past, but again, they are a year old, and if you haven't gone through my old videos and you're a new subscriber, I wanted to make this for you guys and for my old fans as kind of a refresher on how to be raw in the winter without getting too cold. First off, I want to talk about how we actually are not meant to be living this high north. We're tropical creatures, and we're like magnetized over to the tropics. We love to be in the sun, we like the warm weather, and yes, we do enjoy the winter because there are fun things to do in the winter and it's pretty as well, but our bodies don't want to be in that weather. They don't like the cold. We heat our houses to a temperature where we can be naked at. We clothe ourselves. If you're feeling cold, you grab a sweater or a hoodie or something, you put it on because our bodies want to be that perfect temperature that it likes. If we were living in the wild and we didn't have houses, it would be very difficult to live this high north. We are just not built for it. Birds fly south for the winter, and the animals that live this high north have been adapted to live this high north in their natural state. These animals will burrow, hibernate like the bears do, but they don't build houses and they don't heat their homes. They have fur. They protect themselves that way. We don't. We have skin that's exposed. We need to be living in the tropical areas. Unfortunately, not all of us can do that, but there are things that you can do to remain a raw vegan in the winter. For one, this is a big one, and a lot of people don't think about it really, but if it's cold, you're gonna be cold. If it's cold outside, you're gonna be cold, and that's just how it is. You gotta wear sweaters, you gotta get those extra blankets out, take warm bubble baths, that kind of stuff. You gotta do it anyways because it's cold outside and no amount of cooked food is going to warm you up. There is something called leukocytosis, which your body actually produces white blood cells in reaction to eating cooked food. And some people, when they eat the cooked food, they will notice this. If you're really in tune with your body, you can notice this, especially if you've been eating raw for a really long time and you ingest something cooked. You'll notice that your body actually warms up a little bit and your heart will actually start to race. You're pumping more blood through your body, and your body is kind of throwing out a little miniature fever with the white blood cell. It's kind of like an immune response to the cooked food that you're eating. And this can sometimes warm people up for a little bit. That's why raw vegans are naturally on the colder side, because they don't have this constant leukocytosis reaction going on in their body. So as a raw vegan, you are actually naturally a little bit colder, but if you are eating all cooked food, but you're calorie restricting, you're still gonna be cold. When I was calorie restricting back in the day, when I was eating all cooked food, actually, through the winters, I was freezing cold ice cube because I was constantly cutting my calories down to lose weight. Indoctrinated by society to cut my calories down, I was living around the 1400 calorie mark, and I was always cold. Hands, feet, nose, ears, freezing cold, almost to the core. And I was eating cooked food. I was eating tons of cooked food, and I was eating junk food as well, but I would eat those stews and everything to warm myself up because I thought it was so cold, but I would still be cold. I would be warm for a little bit, but I would always be constantly cold. And this, I believe, was because my metabolism, when you're not eating enough, and this is for all you raw vegans out there, listen to me very carefully, you need to eat enough food. You need enough carbohydrates and you need enough calories to sustain you. If you aren't eating enough food, your metabolism will slow down. Your body will just slow down because it's trying to conserve the energy that you aren't even giving it. So you need to take that time to eat the extra calories to boost your metabolism. With time, your metabolism will get better, and the other factors that I'm going to mention in a bit, but you need to work on your metabolism being optimal. If you read the book Proteinaholic by Dr. Garth Davis, he does talk in there a little bit about increasing your carbohydrate intake and eating more fruits and vegetables and carbs that fuel you. You have like an internal furnace, and the more carbohydrates you eat, the more energy you expend, because you can burn that off throughout the day. So you actually produce more energy that way, keeping your body warmer. So the number one thing that you can do to keep yourself warm is to eat enough food, eat enough calories for you. And I'm not saying overeat. Don't eat like 4,000 calories if you're 4'9". You don't need that many calories, but you need enough so that you can sustain that constant energy, so that your body is always burning. And so you have your little furnace going all the time. Another really great tip is to not eat food straight from the fridge. If you make a salad straight from the fridge, a lot of fridges are on the colder side too. I've had some lettuce that almost had little chunks of ice in it because it's so cold. And then you eat the salad and you're like cold inside. The best suggestion that I have is, if you have time, and I know not everyone can do this, but take your fruits and vegetables out of the fridge and leave them on the counter for a little bit. It's not going to hurt them to be left out for a little bit, maybe an hour or so if you can. Tomatoes are a big one. More of the higher water content of a fruit or vegetable, the colder it is, the longer it's in the fridge. So take your fruit and veggies out and make your salad after they've become room temperature. In the wild, again, we didn't have fridges. We didn't have, we're not living in the sun and, have this fridge where you can open and grab a tomato and eat it fresh and cold. We ate things warmed from the sun, basically sun temperature, sun ripened mangoes. There was a day, actually, I mentioned on Snapchat, I was eating mango from in my car, and it was warm and it was juicy, and it was so nice to have that hydration after a really hot day. But it had been warmed by the sun in my car, and this is how they would be in nature. We would just pick them off the tree and they would be warm anyways. They wouldn't be cold from the fridge, so we wouldn't be ingesting these cold things. The third tip that I have is to increase your exercise. Get on a rebounder, start bouncing around on a miniature trampoline, or even just go for a walk, go for a run, do some jumping jacks, grab a skipping rope and do some skipping rope exercises in your living room if you can, or whatever. Just get up and move around. We are too sedentary. We sit around and we don't move. Our circulation doesn't move, our muscles don't get a chance to act and burn some more energy. So you want to get up there and you want to move. If you're feeling cold, just get up and do some jumping jacks. Again, skip rope, whatever you can do. Go run flights of stairs in your apartment building. Anything to get your, your blood pumping and things moving and getting going in there so that you can warm up a little bit. It's a great option before you decide to put a nice warm sweater on. Go for a little bit of a run, do some squats, do 100 squats, I dare you, do 100 squats next time you're cold. You'll warm up, I promise. The fourth thing that you can do in the wintertime is to eat more spices. Ginger, cayenne, smoked paprika, even the warming spices like the mulling spices, all of these spices that we naturally have consumed over the fall months are going to stimulate circulation and your lymphatic system to expel toxins and to get that warmth going. So cinnamon's another one, really good. That's, again, why we use those spices a lot more at Thanksgiving and Christmas, because these are spices that we're naturally drawn to in the colder months. They stimulate the circulation, they stimulate your body to get going. And the fifth thing that you can do is to use, if you really, really need to, use your dehydrator or your Vitamix to warm up your raw foods. The temperature, the magic temperature is 115 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the magic raw food temperature of the max that you can go. Set your dehydrator for 115 degrees and just let your food sit in there. You can try my raw vegan chili recipe. That's a great one for winter months. You can you chop all the veggies, stick them in the dehydrator, let those warm up for about 2 hours. And in the Vitamix, you make the sauce and you blend that for a good 5 minutes and it warms up. it looks a little bit steamy, but it's still a decent temperature. And pour that over your dehydrated veggies and you have yourself a nice warm, but still raw vegan chili that can fill you up and make you feel satiated over those cold winter months. You can make soups in the Vitamix. You can warm apple cider in the Vitamix, which is going to be a recipe in my recipe book for the holidays that I'm coming out with, that I've been working on for the last 6 months, and that's one of the recipes that I came up with like quite a while ago that I want to share with you guys, but it'll be in that book, so watch for that. But yeah, using the Vitamix and the dehydrator, or even the sun, if you have, in the wintertime, if you have a window that has a really nice spot with a lot of sun, go for it. Use that. Warm your mushrooms up, warm some, you can make sun-dried tomatoes and everything. You can just warm it up in the sun, just like, again, we would be eating in the wild. We'd be eating that warm stuff. Blankets, bubble baths, dry brushing, that can all stimulate and to cover up and to keep you warm in these winter months. So I hope you guys like this video. Please click like if you did. Subscribe to my channel to get notifications for more. You can find me on Facebook at Lissa's Raw Food Romance, and I'm very active over at Instagram. You can find me there at Raw Food Romance, and on Snapchat. I love my Snapchat, Lissa Raw Vegan. So head on over there and check it out. Again, I'm gonna have a holiday book coming up, so you guys can have some nice holiday recipes to incorporate into your raw vegan winter. Until the next video, guys, I hope you enjoyed. And as always, love you and fruit on.